Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 36 of Sketch Watch Play. I am John Fleury.
And I'm Christopher Wade.
And this is a first. It's not a first that we're recording this in person together. That's been at your house a couple times. This is the first time we've done it at my place.
Yeah, first time.
Which was a kind offer from you.
Mm-hmm.
That was, and it's actually, you're having a busy Saturday the day we're recording this too.
Yeah.
You do have a rental car here.
I put my car in the shop and lots of running around in Maryland before I came up here.
In a rental car that made you car sick. Because you were talking about car height. That needs to be specific for you.
Well, the way it's because I'm a baby man, and the way a tall baby man, and the way I sit in my car, I tend not to be low to I try not to be too low to the ground.
Yeah.
Because it makes me motion sick. Yeah. So I got a little higher. I usually keep my seat a little higher, but this car doesn't matter. It's just too low, and I'm like, oh no, my poor constitution can't handle this. So I'm sitting here recording this, just a little queasy. So.
If we got to pause for you to go puke, understandable.
Gotcha.
And we'll add in Please Stand By.
With some nice, pleasant
elevator music. Please Stand By. Painful vomiting.
As I'm puking in a bed.
And we turn up to I'm knock on our door. But it's actually, well, first I want to apologize for but I guess people have gotten used to it, especially this year, just how much I space out episodes of this show. Mm-hmm. It is not intentional, I assure you, but it's just
life. Yeah,
and please don't blame Chris for any of this, since he's still technically a recurring guest. You got a busy life of your own.
I do,
and we've had a lot of things going on commitment wise the past couple months, and some of it I've been talked about online, some of it I haven't much. But the one that you didn't just learn, but you just saw, I am now a cat owner for the first time. She's currently sitting in my bedroom with the door closed. Not that I don't trust her or anything, but with the laptop I record this on, its battery's busted. If the AC adapter is jostled, we lose everything. So I'm not.
So she is a short-haired, a tabby?
Domestic short-haired tabby. If we have any listeners who are animal lovers, I am too, and I've given every family pet their own Instagram account. Mm-hmm. Squawks, I've talked about in the past, the bird, my parents. At Squawks the Parrot, because he's named after a Donkey Kong character. Mm-hmm. I believe the family dog is at Oakley Springer. She's a Springer Spaniel.
Yeah.
And I need to pull up Cleo's, because I had to give her a number, because that's not that uncommon a name.
Yeah.
And I couldn't think of. I thought it would be really genius. Oh, Miss Cleo Cat. She'll tell your future, but
no, someone's already got it.
Clearly,
it's probably the original Miss Cleo who has it.
This is my cat.
Oh no, she died. I forgot about that.
Did she?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought she just dropped off the map.
No, she went to prison and I think died in prison. I'm not sure.
That sounds funny now.
Yeah.
Sorry, Miss Cleo. Unless you murdered someone. Unless she murdered someone.
I don't give a shit. She was scamming people.
Okay, it was a scam. Okay. I feel less bad now. Richard Williams died yesterday.
Yes, I did. That's tough.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Richard Williams we mentioned briefly, he did that, legendary unfinished film, Thief and the Cobbler, which has some really amazing animation, mm-hmm. but he was the head of animation on Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
A movie that I think means, we've talked in the past, that means a little something to you.
Yes, it does.
And, we should do that on the show at some point.
We should.
Yeah, but, Gifted Animator was continuing to do lessons, and also, if you've ever attended animation school and gotten that book, the Animator Survival Kit, all him.
Yeah.
Very, very amazingly skilled guy, clearly influential, big loss, but he left quite a legacy.
Yeah, and it was him that, before he kind of condensed all the lessons in the animation survival kit, animation was this weird mystery to a lot of people.
Especially back in the 60s or 70s. That was kind of nobody knew where it was going. And so you got stuff like Disney, you got stuff like Bakshi. It was a weird crossroads.
And so Richard Williams was able to take all this information from old animators and help train new animators. Yes,
he would train people while they were working on Thief and the Cobbler.
Yeah.
And he would have, classic Nine Old Men era Disney guys both tutor them and help out with the movie as well.
Yeah.
He was a real kind of torch passer in some ways.
What I really liked about about his lessons is I remember watching the video from the Animator Survival Kit, and there's a point where he says these are all things that I've learned, and these are all things that are tried and tested, but they're not hard and fast laws. Mm-hmm. They can be broken. You can attack this. You can attack animation in any way. I'm paraphrasing, but he basically said that you can attack it any way you see fit, but these are the things that have worked for me and the Nine Old Men.
No, he seemed like a nice guy.
Yeah.
Both as a professional and just, if you would hang out with him and talk these kind of things, because he clearly had a passion for it.
Yeah, and he's a really, definite passionate individual, and it's so great, seeing all the lessons that he's taught, be filtered out through the animation community today, and I know there are people who think that 2D animation is dead, but like
it's not. It's just moved to different places.
It's thriving so hard right now,
especially with indie people on. That's all that like YouTube and Newgrounds in the animation is.
Yeah.
And I feel like so much of that inspiration and rules, we have him to thank for it.
Yeah.
But pour one out for Mr. Williams.
Mm-hmm.
About cats.
Cats.
I don't remember how we got to that. But yeah, no. So Cleo, it's interesting. I'm technically her third owner.
Okay.
So my sister is finishing up college over in Harrisonburg, JMU. And earlier this year, I asked her, she was stepping out of a restaurant, and this stray kitten ran up to her feet and kind of nuzzled her. Mm-hmm. It had a collar and a little bell on it, but no tags.
Okay.
So she took it to her place and spent like a month doing, everything you could think of to try and find this owner, posters, online stuff, asking around, just looking.
No one.
Cleo's origins are a mystery.
Mm-hmm.
And she wasn't, I thought she was younger than she was just because she's not that big.
Mm-hmm.
But Caroline was like, all right, well, I'm going to adopt this cat. But after a month, my sister is a workaholic. She's a workaholic. She's a great student. She has a lot going on in her life, and she realized
having a cat's too much.
She realized I love Cleo, but I don't have the time in my life that a growing cat needs.
Yeah.
And so she called me up and was like, John, I'm either going to give her to a shelter, or would you be interested in adopting her? And I was like, bring her over.
Cool.
Especially, I think this is one of the cases where living solo is a plus, because we've joked about this for years. My mother is so anti-cat. Mm-hmm. We're still giving her flack when Caroline was first taking pictures of Cleo. We were all going, oh, how cute. Oh, what a sweet looking kitty. My mom just firmly was like, under no circumstances will that cat ever be allowed in my home.
Oh my God.
And I just told her, like, why are you racist against cats, Mom?
It's so weird because my family's kind of, my older family,
mm-hmm.
like my grandmother and my parents, they're very either stringent against cats or very ambivalent with cats.
Okay.
Like, they don't give a shit.
To be fair, my mom finally met Cleo, and she's gotten more ambivalent. Mm-hmm. She is like, that is a cute cat. She said, though Cleo did some of her running, what do you call it when they run around the apartment really fast?
The kitty zooms.
Yeah, if you're a cat owner, you can, like Chris has been for a long time, with Serena. There is that point where they just will, for no reason, just zip real fast across, back and forth the whole house.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, she is so fast. Mm-hmm. And she was like, no, she's a cute cat, but she's still never allowed in my home.
Aw, that's a shame.
And you just met her. Cleo's a very sweet, sociable, chill cat.
Yeah, very social. She reminds me of Jonesy, because Jonesy does the exact same things that she does.
Yeah.
Like Jonesy's obnoxiously affectionate. Like, he sees a new person, he wants to be their friend immediately.
She's kind of been like that. Maybe chill about it, but she warmed up to you real quick.
Yeah.
But also relating to cats, you technically have two new ones because you did the movie you mentioned in the past.
Yeah. So, man, this past year has been extremely busy on my part.
Yep.
Mostly because one major thing happened. Me and my wife, we moved from our place back in Northern Virginia, and now we've moved in with her parents.
Yep.
We want to. Our goal is to save up for a house eventually.
Right. So you can stop paying rent at least.
Yeah. So that's the goal.
Right.
So at the moment, we took our cat Jonesy with us. We had to put our other cat down, which is a big shame. Simba,
we mentioned in the past. Both very, I get along very well.
Yeah. So her parents actually own two other cats.
Yeah.
One's a big fat black and white short hair named Marvin, and the other one is
Marvin's a good cat name.
It is. And the other one is exactly like your cat. It is a short haired domestic tabby named Newt.
Which I've been asking if it's an Aliens reference, because you named yours after Ripley's cat.
Jonesy. Serena did, I'm sorry. Yeah, Serena named Jonesy.
And it's Serena's parents, so Alien fandom might run in the family.
It might, and I wouldn't be too surprised. Now, they're all great cats. Jonesy is the most sociable. So so now that I've met Cleo, I'm looking at, and I see her like do the little jackrabbit thing
with her legs when she wraps around your arm.
She wraps her around your arm, and she's just like, and she takes her hind feet and she just goes to fucking town. That's Jonesy in a nutshell.
Okay.
So,
yeah. You were recognizing some behaviors that I was like, I didn't know about that. But you have cat experience, so thank you.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I've shown. Well, actually, no. As a whole, she's been very sweet. But I was showing you on Thursday. She has a thing where if I'm wearing socks and like shorts or boxers, like in the evening, and I've got my calves exposed, she like runs up, wraps herself around my leg, and like at best nips, and at worst leaves like a 6-inch scratch.
Ooh, yeah.
And I have not figured that out, but I'm going to be careful what I wear around her.
Mm-hmm. You should. She seems like she's not an aggressive cat.
No, she's not.
And it's good that you got a scratching post. She'll warm up to it.
She has not understood. I told you she hasn't understood what it means yet. She's at best using it as a back scratcher.
Yeah.
She thinks it's Odie's present to Garfield on Christmas. But yeah, so that cats happened, moving happened on your end, and Some other stuff that has, well, maybe not relevant to movies quite so much, but I've been practicing improv recently.
Have you?
So that came about because Patrick, my brother, Pascal from the show,
Yeah.
Acting's in his blood. He's enjoyed doing it since high school,
Yeah.
and he has, so in college he moved to New York at Fordham University to study theater. And he did that, he did indie film and TV. Eventually he moved back because New York rent is crazy.
Yes.
But he immediately found an improv troupe. I would look them up. They are Washington Improv Theater DC, WIT DC.
Mm-hmm.
They have a website. They have a YouTube channel where they upload every recording they do at this place called the Source Theater. And so you can sign up for a weekly thing where they're members of the troupe. I was going to say alumni, but they teach you a 5-level course of the basics of improv with the group, and which ends in a public showcase.
Yeah.
I finished my level 1 a few months ago. You can find that on YouTube. I might put that in the links.
Cool.
And I did my last lesson yesterday. We're going to have 2 showcases coming up in late August.
That's right.
And then I might not start level 3 right away. I've been doing them on Friday evenings, which I understand how tired anybody is by the end of a work week.
Yeah.
And then you got to do 2 hours of very physical and vocal stage work. But I've had a lot of fun with it, and it actually I don't think I mentioned this to you either because it's only just started. It kind of, I found out Patrick did this too. It makes sense. It kind of made me get interested in trying out amateur voice acting online for some projects. I did land one that's like a very tongue-in-cheek machinima, where a guy was doing a story about a Crusader Kings campaign.
Yeah.
It was all like bears called Count Cuddles, and I'm doing a dramatic voice about the war of Count Cuddles.
Oh, cool.
Fun stuff like that. And I'd also recommend to anybody, if you want to either learn more about the craft art of it or just chat to people who like that kind of stuff. I recently did a Discord for Voice Acting Club, founded by Gear Buckland, who I've brought up a ton in the past. 2B, I think that's probably the most the thing that you're the most connected to. Me, I'm like with Dong and Rampa, but there's just a lot of fun things to talk about there, and casting calls and stuff. It's just a fun, and I'm already learning a lot. I think I just underestimated the appeal of just adopting that different personality, doing all these crazy voices.
Yeah, and it's really fun.
Yeah, because you're doing it for the main character, the Scarecrows in Twom.
Yeah,
that's always been the plan, and we've talked about that in the past too.
And last year, I actually wanted to try and do it a little bit more professionally. Around here in DC, it's mainly like commercial and news and stuff.
But you told me about the was it Melissa Lieber?
Yes, yes. And she is in this area. She's in Rockwood.
And she's done professionally like some Bethesda games and a lot of narration too. And you've done one of her sessions, and apparently they went really well, which does like these one-time workshops with a bunch of people.
She is from what I'm told, she's number 1 in the States.
Nice.
So she's expensive.
Yes, that's the main reason why I haven't done it yet. I have to save up. The funny thing is, I have to save up to pay voices for. I'm getting Spacious. The first full script is finally done.
So okay, that makes sense.
And
cool.
I'm finally going
Congratulations.
I'm gonna bring it full circle. The first plan is to get Kaylee Mills to record the sisters' voices.
Yeah.
She and Kira were both cast as the leads in River City Girls.
Oh.
Which I'm excited about, both because Way Forward makes good stuff.
Yeah, they do.
And that game just looks like a really fun person. They did a similar thing with Double Dragon Neon. I think they're good at putting life back into these old series.
Yeah.
So yeah, look forward to Spacious stuff. But I've just been kind of spreading everything about. I did some streaming recently, and I've been trying to get a lot more hours in to save up for these projects and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But also, Cliff, is there anything else you want to? All I've let you talk about is cats. Cats in the Move.
No, the Cats the Cats in the Move has pretty much been my life for the past several months.
Cat life.
Yeah, essentially, like the move was a huge thing.
My parents recently moved this year too.
Really?
They moved from a townhouse to a little condo. Now that all the kids have moved out.
Okay.
But they're still working on it a month later. So I a full house, obviously, and it's also occupied by parents. So you got to figure out the space for everyone on that.
Yeah, we're still dealing with a bit of a space issue with our parents. But I mean, we're still making it work. It's just at the moment, like because I moved because I crossed state lines at this point. I'm still trying to get my car stuff together, and that's why my car's in the shop, and I had to run back and forth to make sure it's done.
Because if you don't, you're a criminal.
Yes, I am. Car laws are crazy in this area, and part of it's for good reason because of the high traffic and everything, but my god, it's also a fucking nightmare.
Yep, welcome to... There's a reason Megas XLR did a whole episode lampooning the DMV.
It's horrible.
I hate the DMV.
I hate the DMV.
And the last thing I'll say, I think this might have been the reason we deleted this episode in the first place. We're recording this on August 17th, about a month ago at this point. I took my first trip to California.
Yeah.
Well, technically second, because when I was doing journalism, we went to E3 one year.
Okay.
But literally all we did was share a hotel and shuttle back and forth between down the con, so I got to see nothing.
Yeah.
But this was kind of a threefold thing. One of my relatives who I'm close with, my mom's sister and my aunt, she's lived over in like the LA Santa Monica area like my whole life, so I barely get to see her. And I've been trying to get in touch more with a lot of relatives this past year. Like I've been visiting cousins and aunts and uncles who I haven't seen in a long time. It's nice. And two, I was suffering a case of severe burnout. This was a case of, because I still, the Wario collab's still going.
Yeah.
A lot of cool stuff is happening. We passed 1,000 followers.
Yeah, that's cool.
You've still got a shot at some point, but I also extended the deadline to February because we got a lot of people. I didn't tell you that, or did you forget?
No, I really needed a deadline.
Yeah, a lot of people did.
And most collab and animation collab projects, they tend to give out a lot of deadlines anyways.
Yes.
But
my original was November.
Yeah, but I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah. Part of it was we've had a lot of people recently apply, and I'm like, I want to be a little more fair to them. Because me recently, I've taken a break because I just did 3 shots for other collabs. The Donkey Kong collab, which may or may not still be happening. That guy's been suffering burnout too. I actually saw, you mentioned a guy in past, the Cartoon Gamer. He was reaching out to him about passing the reins. I did as well, but then I found that they didn't have as much done yet as I was expecting. And I was like, I got to think realistically about my workload.
Yeah.
There's that. The Sonic X collab, which is still happening. And Colin actually contributed shots for.
Yeah, I saw that. That's cool.
I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, his stuff came out really well.
Yeah. Probably the only way we'll get Chris to watch Sonic X again.
Yeah.
And what was this one will be out pretty soon because it's very short. The Rayman collab.
I didn't know about that one.
I was wondering, like, what are you going to do? Like, there aren't really, there was that cartoon that had nothing to do with the games. No, they're taking the launch trailer for Rayman Origins. It was like a minute, and they're like, go crazy with references to other Rayman stuff. So I had one of him and one of the guys beating up enemies, but I replaced them with enemies from 2 and 3.
Cool.
And you could also, you were upset about this because you could draw, like many of you could have a credits persona. I drew myself as a rabbit. In the hoodie with the bushy eyebrows. Specifically, because I like to push your buttons about rabbits. Do you remember back when I joked, we had the holographic wife running joke? And I was like, imagine Chris forced to get a holographic anime rabbit wife.
I remember that.
He would scream.
I would.
What an anime rabbit look like with like those eyes?
I don't want to think about it, John.
Don't Google Rabbit Peach. The internet already took her the wrong way.
Oh, yes, it did.
Don't do that, internet.
Don't Google anything ever.
Don't Google specifically female characters from kids' cartoons and games.
Just know things. Just know. Don't Google anything ever.
Yeah. But the LA trip. So it wasn't just again burnout because of trying to do all these things and just frazzling my mind. But I also got an email from a Mr. James. I cannot remember if it's Schauf or Schauf. Please forgive me, James. It's Schauf. No, Elf. Schauf. He's not like an elf, for the record.
Oh, thank God.
No, he is a professional 3D modeler who has worked on Big Hero 6, Moana, Iron Man 2, and has now recently been working at DreamWorks in their TV division. Worked on the Nickelodeon Kung Fu Panda series.
Yeah, he's an accomplished guy.
You could look up his portfolio. I was recognizing shots from the movies he did because he did a lot of environmental stuff.
I remember when you told me when he contacted you.
Yeah, so the reason was, I'm not going to brag and say he saw some of the animation. It was like, come here and reply. No. He saw the grandma videos. The one, like definitely probably the biggest thing I've done on YouTube is Mimi and I watching the Avengers and Star Wars. I think the one that really caught attention was Toy Story. We watched a lot of animated movies. But that was the first one I did a recording for.
Yeah.
And she had never seen any Toy Story movies.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And for the record, I took her to see Coco in theaters right after I saw it with Patrick, and I was like, Mimi, you need to see this. And surprised, she loved it. But I always like to point out like little trivia facts to her. Like, I think people are how they figured out how to make the Army Man walk, right? They nailed shoes to planks of wood and recorded guys in them. Side note, have you seen the videos going on of the Ariel reference?
No.
The live action reference they use for Ariel. It's like for like the parts, especially the parts when she's silent, has to pantomime. So here's a funny thing. I knew this because I'm such a geek. It was a woman named Sherry Stoner who worked for them at the time. She went on to write for Animaniacs and voice Slappy. Oh. So there's your Disney princess Slappy Squirrel.
That's rad.
So I was talking about that. I was like, and she always likes to look at the credits, like, look how many people it takes to make these things. Like, she appreciates that. And I think that obviously if you're James Sharp working on this stuff, and I've shown her Big Hero 6 as well. She loved it. And he just thought that was such a neat thing to do, and that she would appreciate it. And she had said, she had sent the invitation to her as well. Like, if either of you are ever in the LA Glendale area, want to get like lunch and a tour, let me know. I did ask Mimi. She had just taken 3 flight trips.
Wow.
One was for a wedding, one I can't remember, and one was to Jerusalem. She was very devout, so she went and visited the spot where they think Jesus was born. And she was like, "I think I'm going to take it easy travel-wise for like a year." I was like, "I don't blame you.
Yeah,
you're 91 years old. You deserve a break from breaks." But I called my aunt. I was like, "I want to catch up with you. I want to talk to this guy, and I want to just see what this place is like." And LA is wonderful.
It is.
I was really. It's a really nice place.
Expensive as shit, but
yeah. And as much as like, because I've actually had started to think about both saving up and doing more professional work to relocate somewhere. But where exactly is up in the air? Because obviously California's a big place for TV animation and the like, but it's also expensive and competitive as shit. Yes. So we will have to see what comes of that. And I'm also going to look. I think. I mean, right now my money is on. I'll bet it'll be someplace that surprises me. Like I'm always surprised when I look up like the game or studios I like, and I'm like, oh, they're in like Idaho. Yeah. I'm like, who knows?
It's weird you brought up like
Leica Studios. Yes.
No,
I didn't see Missing Link. Nobody did.
You brought up James contacting you. Yeah. Like out of nowhere.
Yes, literally.
Yeah.
And I was not reaching out to anyone. He just sought out the email through the YouTube or whatever. Yeah. It was incredible.
And it was and it wasn't because of your animation work. It was because of these videos that you did
sharing movie making.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people like really piss on YouTubers and creators and content creators.
Sometimes for good reason.
Yeah, for good reason, but specifically for exactly what you were doing for
reaction videos?
Well, not reaction videos, but showing their grandmoms or showing their grandparents new movies or movies that are already in public consciousness.
I think she got spoofed by ProZD, her Smash Brothers video.
Really?
Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that. No, well, we can watch it later.
Okay, it's really short.
Yeah, but
she was not the first grandma to guess names. I think she was the first for Smash Brothers. And he did a pretty funny roast of it.
I got another one for ProZD, but I'll talk to you in a second about that. But my point is that of course there are people who shit on like content creators for doing my grandparent saw this thing and this is the reaction video to that. And I'm like, yeah, but you also see what that does, right? You also see that, these content creators are not only generating traffic and, providing a good thing for the audience, but also getting like real big namers to come and be like, hey, you're showcasing our stuff to new viewers, and you're doing it in like a really new and kind of modern way.
And that's cool. Positive ways. I've never shown her anything that I'm like, I think she won't like this.
Yeah,
and that's why I like people are like, show the prequels. I'm like, I'm not sure, guys.
The prequel that's one thing, but. I mean, from what you did, and you were really conscious about how you did it.
Yeah. I also know her triggers, so like, no, she's never going to see Deadpool.
yeah. But and that's also smart. Like you went about it in a very like conscientious way.
Yeah.
And James obviously like caught that hint and was like, you're showing him like all of our work. Or you're showing her all of our work in a really cool way, and that's amazing.
And she's enjoying it, and she wouldn't have seen it otherwise.
Yeah. I mean, so if you're a content creator out there, and you feel kind of jaded because the criticisms and all the feedback out there is like.
Well, in my case, I'm my own worst critic. You know that.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're an artist, yes, and some of us.
That is very common.
Yeah, if you feel like the world is wagging its finger and thumbing your nose at you for doing something that you think it's fun and it's not harmful to anyone else, and you're doing it in the spirit of showing someone a good time, fucking keep doing it. Because, I mean, you got invited to fucking DreamWorks.
Yes, and you remind me of my favorite Cats Don't Dance quote. I just want to do what I love, doesn't everybody?
Yeah.
But 2, again, props to James Schaff, because I did not really know what to expect in terms of the tour. Now, I will say, obviously, I did not get to go inside the studios where they were working on stuff, because I would be breaking embargo.
Yeah.
But I did get to see, their entrance, lobby, / room is really beautiful. I was showing you pictures of it.
Yeah.
They had a bunch of bookshelves filled with concept art and maquettes from all areas. It wasn't just newer stuff. I saw, like, obviously you see, like, Kung Fu Panda, Madagascar, Trek, but there was, like, The Croods, Over the Head, one of the most underrated movies, I think. Rise of the Guardians, their most underrated
That
movie.
Definitely their most underrated
movie. You were telling me, I haven't seen it. There was one, they had a maquette of Spirit. which you just saw for the first time.
I saw Spirit for the first time a couple months ago. My wife loves Spirit.
Yeah, it looks very pretty from what I've seen.
Yeah, and so I sat down. I'm like, all right, let's do it. Let's fucking do it.
Also, Adventure Time fans, that's how they came up with James Baxter, the horse. Mm-hmm. James Baxter was lead animator on the character.
Yeah, and the movie is beautiful.
Yeah,
I'm
despite the superfluous Matt Damon narration.
Yeah, I'm not 100% on Matt Damon doing the narration. I think the movie could have carried.
Apparently, they were supposed to.
Yeah, but the movie is good. I mean, if you're a fan of animation, if you're a fan of horses, and even if you're not,
there are a lot of horse fans.
Yeah,
I'm one of them.
And even if you're not, if you just want to sit down and cool off and just watch something beautiful, Spirit is a good way to go.
It seems a more easygoing movie than even their other 2D stuff at the time. Yeah, like compared to like Prince of Egypt, it's like this is like a horse.
Side note: you mentioned Rise of the Guardians.
Yes,
and unfortunately for me. Before it came out, I shat.
We talked about this in Spider-Verse. Yeah, Peter Ramsey. That was his first movie.
Yeah, I shat on Rise of the Guardians.
Yeah,
before
it wasn't promoted well. That's why I bombed.
Yeah, well, even before it came out, like I was really like very critical of it.
Yeah, I expected nothing from it.
Yeah, but I went and saw it, and I had a good time.
I love it. I've said someday we should do that episode on that because there's so much I have to say, and there still is, and Jack Frost is still like an icon on Tumblr.
Jack Frost is definitely an icon, but my favorite character was actually the Easter Bunny.
Yeah, Hugh Jackman being Australian and just badass, and
that's a cool design.
And the way his relationship with Jack goes throughout the film. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite parts is that outburst he has. We should never have. It's like it hurts.
Yeah.
And Jude Law, that's one of the most underrated villains. Is Pitch.
Yeah.
Someday.
Yeah.
But, so James and I, he both gave me a tour of the outside thing, which was very pretty. Thankfully, it was a nice sunny day. It had, they had some full character-sized maquettes. One of Shrek, obviously. One of Poe, the kid, which I got a picture of. They had koi ponds. They had, I think it was cute how they would incorporate the Boy in the Moon logo.
Yeah.
They had some, shrubbery shaped like that. Mm-hmm. They had a clock shaped like that with the hands jutting out on the sides. And the nice thing was, guests are allowed to go to the cafeteria they have open.
Oh.
Got to see, get a look at like their workforce and kind of gave me confidence because I'm hard on, and I talked about this too. One thing I'm hardest on myself on, and you know this, we kind of were in the same age range in college a decade ago. I did really badly, so I kind of just fell out of it for a long time, because I was a big, lost confidence. And then like 3 years ago, something in me was like, no, I'm getting back on this. But I've been a bit hard on myself because I'm a guy starting in his 30s.
Yeah.
And obviously it's very easy to go on Twitter and something and see like a 20-year-old who is like already just got it all figured out.
Yeah.
And I talked to James about this, and it turns out he had a similar story where he was curious about it in his college years in the early 20s, but he spent a decade in the Air Force.
Yeah, okay.
Which is, I'm not going to shame anybody for that, obviously. No. He did some very cool technical stuff there. But eventually that drive was, he didn't want to ignore it anymore. He started practicing again, and now he's professional working these things. And we talked about a lot about the craft and the industry. Like, he talked about, you don't, it's one where like, you don't do it to be a millionaire, you do it because you love it.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. I'm not big on, I'm not doing stuff to be rich or famous. I want to do stuff because I like it.
Yeah.
And he talked about other stuff like unionization. We were bringing up stuff about like, cause that's been a hot topic in visual effects in games. Cause we talked about like the crash of Telltale or Rhythm and Hues before that. Mm-hmm. People did like Happy Feet and Life of Pi and just abruptly gone.
Yeah.
And, but it does sound like that's become that's had a spotlight on it more recently, so we may see some stuff coming from that.
Yeah.
And just talk about, of course I brought up Iron Giant and my inspiration. I remember if he said he had a single inspiration, but he did bring up.
I know it's cliche, and I know that people are tired of hearing it.
You can say it. But whatever it is.
It's never too late to start again.
Yeah. I should also bring up, I guess I learned a similar thing when I went to Anime USA last year. I mentioned this. Karen Strassman. She's done a ton of voices. She's she's done live action work as well. She was on Weeds. She's been working since, I think, the 90s. She's the current voice of Rouge. Mm-hmm. She's a couple characters in Fire Emblem. I believe she's the current voice of Melina in Mortal Kombat.
Nice. That's my favorite character.
Okay.
Awkward silence, really?
I don't know. We're going to talk favorites. We're getting there. But she had a panel about, because it was one of like, this isn't just about acting. It's about a lot of these media or those sort of, public industries. She started when she was around our age as well. And the thing that blew my mind was, taking a job that requires a bunch of script reading, and she's dyslexic.
Oh.
She talked about that. She talked about stuff with other people that she talked about, and she backed up the same thing. She's like, I think she said, like, the only exception I can make is if you're a senior citizen who wants to be like a neurosurgeon.
No shit.
Because then you'd be like Dr. Strange.
Yeah.
But, I would try to remind myself of those. So if we have any listeners who are, I've actually talked to one guy like that on the WarioWare Discord. He recently left it. And now one thing is, I was recently surprised to find, because he's been we're going to move on past this stuff, I promise. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. Mm-hmm. He is a big Disney buff, and one thing he's been doing is buying laser discs of, he's really into the golden era. Mm-hmm. Like the third, like the era where Walt was alive and making, he actually got me to watch, don't take this the wrong way, he was like, I want you to watch the cartoon parts of Song of the South, Bahongas.
Okay.
And he was like, I know about the movie as a whole, its problems, and I actually don't like the live action parts, they're pretty boring. But he showed me, and have you ever seen the animated parts of Song of the South?
I have.
I was surprised by how much they stood out. Like, they were very Tex Avery-ish. Like, I don't think of Disney back then doing, like, the more madcaps type of stuff. That's totally what it was, and I was laughing. And I was also surprised to find out they actually did an all-black cast for those.
Yes, it is.
I'm sure there's still some problems you can point out in terms of dialogue and such, but I was like, there's a little more to this than I originally thought.
It's a very complicated film.
Yes, that's why you'll see it nowadays.
But there's no denying that the animation work that went into it at the time. I mean, of course, you don't see very much of it.
Well, it's Disney, but his point, he started talking about, he would do like some drawings, and he was like, I suck at this, and I talked to him about it, and I was like, okay. Actually, no, I didn't ask him because I had no idea how old he was. Like, I'm 16. I'm like, dude. You are pretty much on the same scale I was at your age. So if you think my stuff is pretty good, keep at it. I started telling him, like, I recommended some books and artists, like, online. I told him, like, a former Disney animator, one of my idols, Tom Bancroft, who, his brother co-directed Mulan. Yeah. And he designed Mushu.
Yeah, the Bancroft brothers.
Yes, yeah, and they do a podcast. I haven't listened to it, unfortunately, but he does, like, an Instagram and stuff. He's done a lot of cool sketches. He has, like, superheroes, original characters. I think he started the trend of mermaid. We draw mermaids in May.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he put up some really neat stuff recently where he went with Eddie Murphy. Instead of them bringing him coming, he had a home studio he recorded.
Nice.
He went there and it wasn't just like they recorded him. He sketched like Disney style characters of Eddie Murphy performing the dialogue to get an idea of how to translate it to Mushu.
Okay.
So I remember the one time I got him to do a drawing request, and it'll tie into our first. Maybe this will be our time to transition to our first topic. I told him, "Hey, have you heard of Kingdom Hearts? You draw the main character. Mushu's in it."
Nice.
That's like I'm to draw it. He's done a lot of like what ifs with Mushu and Mulan.
Cool. Well, before we get into our
I want to see if you have anything else to say about general stuff.
Well, there recently I finally got my I've been backing Kickstarters left or right, and I probably should stop doing that so often. But there is one that I did that was been really beneficial. It was from the Irvington brothers. You've seen these tutorials before everywhere. It is the how to think when you draw series.
Yes.
Yeah, it's always those like little one-shot panels of, here's how you think when you draw hands. Here's how you think when you draw water splashes. Well, they come in books, and they're on. I think they're on their website. You have to join the mailing list, but you
can get them.
Yeah, under Kickstarter. That's how I got them.
Nice.
But apparently, like, you can still get them. They're not available on Amazon or anywhere else. And if you're listening, of course you are, because obviously we're still talking. But if
they're like, get to the games and movies already.
we are. I promise.
I had timestamps in every episode. It's a good point.
But if you're looking to improve your skills, and if you're looking for like a new
guidance,
some new guidance and a new set of resources, they have over 200 tutorials on their site. On their site, most of them are free, so you can just go there right now and check them out. But if you're looking for the books, you'd still have to go to their site. I forget like the exact way and how to do it. But they're amazing resources, and you absolutely should.
I know what I'm doing tonight. I'll also say I emailed James, because obviously if you're doing sculpting, like any form of animation, you have to take anatomy into consideration in human form, and that is my Achilles heel. Not just that in hands and feet, like many people.
Yes.
But I asked him, what is... because I had asked him about that as a 3-mile. He was like, that's something he's doing some fundamentals of. And I said, what are some books you would recommend? He showed me this one, which you can get on Amazon or through their website.
That's a good one.
Anatomy for Sculptors, Understanding the Human Figure by Aldous Sarands. Very good. Just it's because not even there is stuff about like listing all these things. I was like, do I have to know all the names? Like, no, just be able to identify them. I'm like, oh, that is a load off. That's been the most intimidating thing.
Be able to like remember all these names. You don't really need to.
It's one thing I've been looking for. So many like all these body parts from every angle, all these expressions, like just the best for reference and practice, and hundreds of pages of it. Highly recommend check it out.
I've been trying. I've been doing like a lot of. I've been abusing Shenshi stock. What is it? It's Senshi stock, and it's a pose and reference
run by the Sailor Senshi.
No, but they do a lot of Sailor Moon poses, which is really cool because obviously they know their audience.
Yes.
But they have like a lot of really like cool poses and references that you can download either on a thumb drive, which I think I still have, and I might and I have downloaded to my local drive. Yeah. And they have a Twitter account.
Oh,
so There you go. There's a lot of resources for you guys.
Side note, I think it's funny because I'm just realizing since we started the show, we've both deleted and started our Twitters over.
Yes, we did.
I had our business card. It was like, here's Behonkus and Chris Stop the Wade, and now it's Behonkus and C. Wade the sequel, and now it's got to be Behon Art and C. Wade the sequel. Long story, we had our reasons that follow us there.
Yeah.
And I think we should move on, but I will say two other things I broke down really quick. I want to do on the downside, on the upside. On the downside, I will say one thing I've noticed, past couple of months, a lot of people we've praised, shitty stuff happened. I kept talking about, I ran into this Pro Jared guy at E3. What a nice guy. No, he sent his dicks to girls.
Oh, boy.
I'm not going to get to the stuff with his wife because that's all nebulous, but the other stuff. I don't know if you heard about Jim Cummings. Did you hear about the thing with his ex-wife?
Yeah. Didn't he win that case?
Yeah, I hope it's not true because apparently she claimed like he abused her and pets.
Yeah.
But we may never know the answer to that. But it's calmed down. So for now, still very talented actor, and still I want to watch the Sonic OKKO episode because they had to do a joke with Lord Boxman.
Of course. Speaking of that, okay, so I've been pretty quiet about this one, but I'm going to go ahead and put it out there right now.
Whatever out.
Recently found out that Chris Niosi was a bit of a dick.
Yes, it finally got to him.
I've been trying to stay away from that because obviously there are other people who deserve the spotlight and should say shit about that, but I was like. You remember, I was like really...
Yes, I heard about it too, and the same thing happened with Andrew Dickman.
I was really admirable of Niosi's stuff.
He's done good work.
Yeah.
And he's doing the game. I loved all of his parody stuff back in the day.
Well, I threw a lot of money on his Kickstarters.
You didn't know?
I didn't know, but finding out all this stuff like months ago, I was like... That's
on a professional level, it sounds like he's kind of starting from square one.
Yeah.
Nintendo already recast him as the Fire Emblem.
Of course, yeah. That had to happen. There was no getting away from that.
Actually, I've heard was the official reason. He broke his NDA about it on Discord.
That's what it was.
You're not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
But I think they were like, hey, we got a twofold reason here. Kind of same thing. Like, Vic Mignogna didn't break any NDAs, but he's still gone for other reasons.
Fuck that guy.
And you still have people arguing with you about him.
Yeah!
That is... I don't want to Google anything about him on Twitter anymore.
In college, in our younger years in college, when we went to cons, when I went to cons with my then girlfriend,
did he do something weird?
No. But friends were telling me stay away from that dude.
No, I had heard for years that he was egotistical.
Yeah,
but it went farther than that.
It went farther than that.
Sad thing is, I remember when I went to Otakon a decade ago, I went to a Q&A panel with him and Steve Bloom, and they were quite funny.
Yeah,
but at least Steve Bloom so far seems pretty.
Steve Bloom seems awesome.
Best thing, I don't want to keep saying nice people's names. I'm like, I just praised Keira Buckland again. I praised Some Call Me Johnny. You praised Kyoto Animation. They got set on fire.
Oh my god!
Are we cursing people?
Oh no!
Should we just not? Are we going to get Marvel, Kingdom Hearts, and Mortal Kombat all canceled?
You know what? I wish Kingdom Hearts would get canceled.
Okay, on that note, let's do the segue.
Let's do it.
Sora, you don't believe that. I know you don't.
Chris, Kingdom Hearts 3.
Kingdom Hearts 3.
I've beaten it. What about you?
I have not beaten it.
You put it down.
I put it down. Not because it's not fun. Because it is. I've gotten up to the Monsters University level.
Monsters Inc.
Yeah. I've gotten up to the other Pixar level.
Yeah.
And the game is fun. But I keep wrestling with the idea that I've been waiting 15 years for this installment. Mm-hmm. We're on 3, and they started at 1. I'm sorry, not 15 years, 17 years. This game came out this game came out when I was 17. I'm 34.
I was going to say Kingdom Hearts 3 didn't come out when you were 17.
Oh, no, Kingdom Hearts 1. You know what I mean.
Yes.
The first
half our lives have passed.
We went through college. There have been Marvel movies have started and ended.
The MCU started.
Yes. And the storyline.
A bunch of game trilogies like Mass Effect started and happened. Yeah.
God. I can't let go of the idea that the Kingdom Hearts story is just a bunch of retconning nonsense. And
you're not wrong.
Yeah, and it's not mysterious to me anymore. It's just gobbledygook.
You've lost your patience.
Basically. Yeah. Like I've been willing to this time.
Let me ask. Because obviously we go back to our Kingdom Hearts retrospective. That was a fun episode because we had some different perspectives. I have a high tolerance for its BS, and it's been getting gnawing over years. I think you hate the organization, and I like a lot of those guys. Did you beat the Monsters Inc. world?
No.
Did you see what happens when a Benita shows up at the end of it?
I don't think I did.
Okay, so but you beat the Toy Story world.
I beat Toy Story was awesome.
Woody,
I will say that much.
Woody having anime roasting kids there. My guess is nobody's
that
ever
shit was
loved.
cool.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
it was awesome. Now, that's the thing I thought. Like, even though you still got organizations superficially popping up in these levels, a lot of the things they do, I thought they were more interesting than what you would do in 2, where it was really just them talking, fighting. Like, the one in Tangled knocking Sora out and turning Gothel into a tree. The one you can get the Pirates level. It has a best of feet where Jack Sparrow breathes on his face and he falls off a ship. And did you get to when Venus appears and Sora says, let me guess, the part you come out of a portal and say some nonsense?
I haven't gotten to that part, but I'm glad that they're acknowledging...
But they didn't change it.
No. I'm glad...
I'll just say, the way that world ends, he is beating the shit out of Sora. Sully sneaks up behind him and roars, just picks him up. They throw him into an open door. Mike turns the door off and picks it up. Throws it into another door. Picks the door up.
That's cute.
Like, it's a total Monsters Inc. way to defeat a guy.
That's cute.
It's great.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I'll say is, so yeah, I've beaten the game. And did you watch any of the stuff that I sent you about the ending?
I did, and then I watched a summary of all the. I forget.
So I basically told you you could jump to the point where the last couple of bosses are. Because spoiler mode here. So, but we both agree the game is really cool, good gameplay wise.
Yeah, I think by itself, I mean, if you're into Kingdom Hearts, cool.
Yeah, if you're into Kingdom Hearts combat,
yeah,
I think that the Keyblade form changes and being able to quick switch with them and upgrade them individually, that's like the smartest thing they did for this game gameplay-wise, because it managed to keep things very fresh.
Yeah.
I really think there's different classes, like, this one's more strength, this one shoots projectiles, this one turns into a hammer, claws, like, it's just, you're gonna have favorites.
Yeah, I like Toy Story Keyblade so far.
Yeah, I love not just one too, but the claws, there's that, and the Big Hero 6 one is great. And I think the Tangled one, which does like the projectiles, like the mirror sword you make, like there's like fun strategies you can do with these things. Those are cool. Though, if you play on default, people have complained, the game is very easy on default.
The game is...
Like you can tell with each number of Kingdom Hearts, they tone things down. But they have since patched in Proud Mode. Or, no, Critical Mode, I think, is the hard one.
Okay.
If you really want to test your even on Hercules, I'm getting slaughtered in that level.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun to play, and I will say, so high points of levels was, I think, both Pixar levels and Big Hero 6, and I think part of that's because I think I've realized I used to want them to be really faithful to the movie. Now I'm realizing that's to the detriment of like the writing and the freshness of it.
Yeah. Especially
Especially in Tangled and Frozen, where Sora's like they're on the sidelines for the whole movie.
Yeah, Frozen didn't really do much. I mean,
that was I've said that and the How Dare Were the low points for me.
Yeah.
So I was really curious to see what they would do with Frozen. They did jack shit.
Yeah, the abominable snowman part. Cool idea.
I didn't want him as my partner. I wanted Elsa and Anna.
There's nothing to do besides that part. You're just climbing on mountains, which
you're separated.
Is annoying. Yeah, it's
you're
annoying.
In this ice labyrinth. And I like Lark's scene, but they gave her jack shit to do.
Serena, my wife, was watching me play the Frozen level, and they replay the Frozen anthem.
It's tiring. They just recreate it, and every now and then it cuts to them. Look at that!
And Serena's like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
No, that sounds a cash cow.
Yeah, that's it. And I'm
sequel coming out this year. There's going to be an equivalent.
Now I have to say that the trailer to Frozen
looks
2
great.
Looks fucking great.
They are legit making the movie I want to make. I was like, I want them to go somewhere else. I want a darker tone, and I want to see other people with elemental powers.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Yeah, like the way that the trailer is set up, like there's no narration, there's no grand exposition. It's just you trying to figure out what's happening.
It looks like it's becoming like more high fantasy.
I'm down with that.
Like you get that girl who looks like flying the leaves who looks like Aloy from Horizon. Yeah. I'm like, oh man, I want to fire. And you see fire. I'm like, I want a firebender villain.
This is I'm interested. I'm very interested. I'm more interested and hyped for Frozen 2 than I am for Kingdom Hearts 3, which did nothing to hype me for Frozen 2.
So, no, they didn't give you anything new other than Han showing up with no lines and turning into a giant wolf.
I hate it.
I want to fight Han with a sword. Okay, so moving on. But yeah, Big Hero 6 was also a really fun level. I guess you didn't get to it. That's what that and Pirates was like. No. I think I like Pirates 2, and that helps because I hadn't seen the sequels, because I think that's one's pretty faithful too.
Well,
particularly the third one, but that was the ship combat. They do some fun stuff with that. That's that and Big Hero 6 are the closest to open worlds too. Mm-hmm. You get to sail the sea and go around like San Francisco, fighting all these things. And Big Hero 6 also, it's like a sequel to their movie, much like Monsters Inc. And they got the personalities right.
They're cool, and
the voices back and stuff. And it's just like
I've rarely seen Kingdom Hearts get personalities wrong. Rarely.
I think it's more common problem is not giving certain characters enough to do. Mm-hmm. Or sometimes you're like, why is that character there but not that? Because we complain like, where's the tavern from Tangled?
Or when I was playing Kingdom Hearts 3,
Yeah.
I had my friend, I had my high school buddy, who were best friends for a while, and my brother Tyrone come in,
Yeah, that's nice.
and they played it, and they were like, Chris, you're being too critical of this game, and I'm like, okay. So I had things to say about it, but for the most part, I ran along with it, and certain things they had a few issues with.
Oh, yeah.
But the biggest thing that they did not like, and maybe this is different later on, but
I'll let you know.
As far as I know, there are no Final Fantasy characters.
Yes.
In Kingdom Hearts
No.
3.
There is a Cactuar reference. No Cloud, no, like, I'm completely on.
That pissed people.
did.
That pissed those two off.
Yeah,
And they
I
were
didn't
like,
care,
They were like,
but-
nope, we're not buying it.
So apparently, people asked Tetsuya Nomura, like, hey, what's the deal? He said there were a couple reasons. One, back when they were first making Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy crossovers weren't really a thing. Now we get a Dissidia equivalent every couple months. Two, he's like, again, we're trying to wrap all this up. We've got a lot of characters to deal with. If you put the Final Fantasy characters there, it's even more muddled.
I'm not so sure about that.
Well, we still don't know where Cloud and Sephiroth are.
Well, that's fine. You don't need Cloud and Sephiroth. I mean, they're fan favorites. So
I've been assuming, like, we're going to see Lightning, we're going to see Noctis.
here's my issue with that. And
We're going to see Old Daddy Boyfriend. That's an old.
Yeah, that would have been cool seeing the 15 guys. But here's the thing: back in Radiant Gardens or whatever the fuck they're calling it
Hall
now,
Bastion.
Route 66. I don't give a shit. That's where Setzer and Vivi were.
Yes, and what's his name from 8? Cypher.
I said Setzer, but
They're
it's
pretty similar.
Cypher.
They're similar.
Yeah.
No, Setzer's from 6. He's the champion.
So those Final Fantasy characters
Not there.
they're not there, but they don't have as much bearing on a story as Cloud and Sephiroth, or as Cloud and Squall did on the earlier games.
Squall's crew with Yuffie and Sid and Aerith. They're those, if they're going to have any Final Fantasy character, it should be those 4.
I love Nomura's character designs, and I think that
Sure.
Final Fantasy VII is going to be an amazing game.
The remake is sounding good.
I'm not confident that he's that great a writer.
No.
And I'm really trying to be nice,
Okay.
because I do love the things that he comes up
Yeah.
with. But
Well, let's finish first, then we'll get into the ending.
When I get to Kingdom Hearts, and I feel my patience waning so thin with, like, time travel and amnesia and
Alternate
figuring out
selves.
the alternate selves.
How many people are living in Sora's heart?
How many 12 Horcruxes does Master Xehanort
All of
need to
them.
make? And I'm like, we need to rein it in.
Okay, well, if the ending is any inclination, they might be. But okay, so let's get to. So you hadn't played it, but I sent you, like, basically. I think I complained about this in the last episode. They saved all the big stuff for the end game.
Yeah.
So after you finish all the levels is when you finally go and find Aqua, and she in turn shows where Ventus is, and so you've got 2 of the 3 Birth by Sleep guys, and they're like, and so off screen, Kyrie and Axel finish all their training, and then you all meet back with Yen Sid and try to piece stuff together about some other people, and then it's like, all right. So I will say, I know you don't like the. Do you remember who Sayx is? Yeah.
I'm shaking my head
He's
nondescriptly.
the very stoic blue-haired one with the X on his face.
Oh, I remember that dude.
So-
he was played by the same dude who played Saito on Rurouni Kenshin, I
He's
think.
also the Jin in Samurai Champloo,
Oh shit, he is!
Orbot in Sonic, and Shadow.
Oh, I didn't know that.
My favorite, Don Patch, the Angry Orange Sun, and blah 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 blah.
Okay, so what is that voice actor's name?
Kirk Thornton.
Okay,
I love
cool.
him, yeah.
Okay.
But so Sayx, he was one of my least favorites for a while because he was one of those that's just all serious and nothing else, like no gimmick. 3, maybe they were like, let's pick one of those serious guys and flesh him out. Because in Birth by Sleep, he had been friends with Lee back in the day, and there's actually like they meet before the final battle on the clock tower, and there's like this silence between them. Like I totally ship them now because they were like both at each other's throats now about their allegiances and such, and Axel was sad that he'd lost his friend. So when you kill him, so the idea is for the returning members at least, they actually point out it's like, well, you're going to be whole again. So it's the Xehanorts who are you're killing them.
Yeah.
And it almost feels like the ending was more interested in giving thoughtful sends-offs to the villains than the heroes.
Yeah, to some degree, not even to some degree. I will say that as much disdain that I have for Organization 13, the best thing about them, I think, besides the whole like mysterious hooded cool design gimmick that they have, they are highly shippable.
Yes.
Like there's so many like good relationship threads that you can make with those characters.
We talked about like everybody wanted to hook Axel up with like the underage girl here. I was like, no, put him up with Sax.
Yeah, put him up with these other dudes. They have so much more going on for them, and I'm like, don't give them a plot because in this story they don't need it. Stop putting them.
So the nice thing is, a lot of them kind of when they're dying, they have these sort of they admit stuff that they were feeling they went on. So did you watch Ansem and Xemnas' deaths?
Ansem and Xemnas' death. Because
the idea is after you finish all the so let's get to spoiler territory. When you're doing the whole ending is like a basic boss rush against the smaller members, then all the Xehanort forms.
I gotta remember who Ansem and Xemnas. I know who they are. Give me a second.
Xemnas is the nobody.
Yes.
Ansem is the Heartless from 1.
Right. Stupid shit.
Then you got Old Man, and then you got Hot Young Teen from Time Travel.
Yes. Okay.
And so you're able to bring back in the process Roxas, Shion, and Terra, free them, get them out of Sora's hearts. They built artificial replica bodies for Roxas and Sion, don't question it. But in the process, Riku's evil clone from Chain of Memories comes back to help him fight past evil Riku from Kingdom Hearts 1. So you got 3 Rikus, 2 of them are evil.
Yeah, I remember the song.
And they both go away.
They both go away.
Xemnas is a thing. I will say, I feel bad for anybody whose favorite character was Kairi. She got shafted very, very hard in this game. Barely any screen time. Most of it is getting kidnapped or killed.
Yeah, Crash Dummy Kairi.
There are 2 points in this game where an organization member, Sora in the Toy Story world, and then Kairi at the end, grabs them, not even by the arm, by the Keyblade. And they do not let go. They just go like, they kind of squirm a little, like, Everybody's like, hey, don't do that. they both have to forget that if you let go of the Keyblade, it rematerializes later on. Yeah. And so by the time you get to the last fight, it's Sora, Riku, and Mickey versus the Xehanorts.
Okay.
And they're nice enough, every time you kill one, it pauses for a cutscene, and you can just assume all the other members went off screen to take a coffee break. Like, yeah, you have your goodbyes.
Yeah.
But they are really good goodbyes in the cases of Ansem and Xemnas.
Okay.
Xemnas starts to admit about feeling some of the emotion that he was not supposed to have. Ansem, that one I was curious about because he's the one villain we've had since day one. And I remember you really liked him back when there was less stuff going on. And that kind of feels like they acknowledge, like, Riku is saying, it's weird, in a funny way, I'm going to miss you. And Ansem's last words are, it's time to move on.
Yeah, I think that's still good. I think that's the applicable.
On the other hand, Jan Xehanort just keeps trash talking you, like, yeah, you're not going to make it out of it. I'm gone.
Yeah, I'm like, fuck you, dude. Goodbye.
But okay, so you get to Xehanort, and he's been saying, like, so yeah, there's this prophecy. If these guys fight these guys, it's going to form the X-Blade, pronounced Keyblade.
Keyblade, whatever.
And he's like, here's the last Kairi, and he pulls up Kairi and kills her.
It's not the Keyblade, it's the Keyblade. I'm like,
X, the symbol of key.
And I'm like, we can't see the subtitles, you idiot.
Just say X. I turned up the subtitles.
Just say the crossblade or something.
He brings out Kairi and kills her, which makes Last Heart. Sora flips out, and Kingdom Hearts opens.
Yeah.
But they decide to, I don't remember how, through some gobbledygook, they're like, well, we'll use his time and space powers against him and shoot at him, which makes a portal that takes him, and Sora and Doofy now follow, the others try and contain the portal, and they're in that Sky City, Skylight Kayam, which I will say, beautiful area. You don't really get to explore it, because that's where the whole last boss takes place. First, he gets his Horcruxes, and then a crazy bunch of battles where he puts on like a goat helmet, and I will say, one really cool thing, there are 2 cool things they do that are kind of meta. First, are you aware of the shout-out to the mobile game?
What was it called?
Unchained? No, they don't say it. There are 2 early on. They're really cool, almost like Endgame era.
It's like coded or something?
No, that's the DS game.
Okay.
Coded sucks, don't play it. But there's a part where they're surrounded by Heartless, and Yen Sid comes out and like rains thunder on these dudes.
Nice. Okay.
Finally, he actually fights. And he's doing the, parting the sea motion from Fantasia. And then, at one point, the thing that finally takes out that big storm of Heartless that, kills everybody in the trailer. And that's what happens. Then Sora wakes up in Limbo and time travels with Jiminy Cricket and makes things better.
Cool. All right.
Yeah. No, they're about to get fought. Then this great thing happens where, I guess in that game, they had a contest, like, if you rank high enough, send us your username. We're going to incorporate it in some way. And thousands, a wave of a stream of Keyblades come on, and you see the phantom of one of the guys from that game saying, need some help, and you get on it, and every special move is a username. Like, you're spamming triangle with all these lasers. It's like X-Wolf, XX, and the way they're saying is that, like, I guess the idea is that all these Keyblade users from 1,000 years ago briefly loaned their powers to the future for a great cause.
Neat.
And I actually, as someone who barely played the game, I was freaked, like, and it's this really cool moment. Look up on YouTube.
I wish that I had, first.
The time and the care.
Well, yeah, both. You got.
Because I said, if you watch all the last cutscenes, you'd be there for 2 hours.
I haven't even gotten to Smash or I gotten to Smash. Yeah, clip that audio clip out. I haven't even gotten to Smash.
Side note, Banjo and Smash.
I did hear about that. That's fucking amazing.
Remember when you were saying, I was listening to the past episode, we were like, that's not going to happen.
Oh boy.
And you still hadn't bought Smash, but Banjo was what tipped you over.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
so I haven't had time to play Smash Brothers. I haven't had time to finish off my run in Mario Maker 2.
Mm-hmm. We're playing that too as well.
Yeah, and my video game time is not great.
No,
it hasn't been for the past 3 months.
Yeah.
So I keep looking at my PS4 and I'm like, I should really finish Kingdom Hearts 3, but I really have to finish animating, and it's like, fuck, I can't do anything. So I get to, so that's why I stopped at Monsters Inc.
Monstropolis.
Monstropolis.
Whatever.
So I remember in Kingdom Hearts 2, we had that gigantic laser battle where when you're fighting Xehanort.
Oh, Xemnas at the end?
Yeah, Xemnas.
Yeah.
And that shit was great.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Yeah, it was fucking amazing. So when you talk about, but unfortunately, I don't have the life experience, so to speak, of playing that part that you're talking about, where all the names show up and the keyblades.
No, that part's really easy because you just spam the triangle button.
Well, I can't. I was about to say, well, so was that part where it was the laser battle in the Kingdom Hearts 2, but now that I think about it, it wasn't that easy. Mm-hmm. So I don't doubt that part you're talking about is really cool. Because I can envision it in my head, and I'm like, oh, that sounds cool.
It was very cool.
I'll never get to it anytime soon.
Well, YouTube the rest of the game.
I will.
But okay, wrap it up. So again, one of the most surprising send-offs is, so when you beat, the other meta part is during the last fight, before the last part, Xehanort knocks Sora out and does the game over thing with him floating in a black void. Mm-hmm. So apparently if you have your PS4 controller speaker on, the screen starts pulsing, you start to hear Don and Goofy yelling for him to wake up. And getting louder and louder because they got his back. Mm-hmm. And then he gets up to do one last counter. They basically do a power struggle beam against him out of DBZ. And so the ending is Xehanort letting all this, you get the sense he's dying from his wounds. Yeah. So I'll say it ended like I hope. Sora beats the shit out of a feeble old man. Mm-hmm. Donald Duck and Goofy murder an old man.
I'm good. Yeah. That's what I want.
And he's saying, like, I've been some personality lately. He's got a Thanos idea. He's like, he has been let down by civilization, and he wants Kingdom Hearts to start fresh and him to be like a new ruler to show it the right way.
Oh, cliche.
And Sora schools him like he gives like a Sora speech, both like a good leader knows what is appropriate for him to do, and he's like, what kind of person is that? I was like, it's not you.
The world needs someone to stand up and lead, someone strong, to stop the weak from polluting the world with their endless darkness, someone to dictate their destiny.
If so, you're not that person.
Yeah.
And then everybody finally comes down to this board, like, we've got Kingdom Hearts figured out, and Xemnas is about to go, like, no, I'm still going to, not Xemnas, Xehanort is still like, no, I still want to do this. And then, Mark Hamill steps out of Terra.
That's right,
Ericus wasn't dead, he was just sleeping in his heart.
Yep. That's just like everyone else.
But I can't believe they got Mark Hamill back for like 1 minute of dialogue. Maybe he was recording something Star Wars related, and they were like, hey, do this too.
Yeah.
And of course, it's been flashing back the whole time to him and Xehanort as hot anime teens. Mm-hmm. And there's a very sweet moment where that's the one to finally get him to, he picks up the Keyblade and goes, enough. And that's what gets Xehanort to finally be like, he actually like hands it over to Sora, like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah.
And then he and Ericus pass away. They turn into teenagers and hearts fly away, because that's what death means in Martin.
Yeah, that's what death means in Square.
But that's not the ending. So they go back, and then Sora's like, okay, well, we got everybody else back, but
Kairi's dead.
Well, that's the thing. Shion says, because she was, linked to her and Sora, she's like, I'm getting the sense that she's still somewhere. I don't know where, but I don't know where. Okay. And so Sora's like, well...
I mean, we didn't just see Xehanort
disintegrate her.
Like slash her in her spine or whatever, but okay.
Yeah. You're never really dead in Kingdom Hearts. I'll bet we're going to see Xehanort come back, even though... So it was Rutger Hauer as replacement. He just passed.
Yeah.
And the voice of Minnie Mouse just passed as well.
Yeah, that sucks.
Who was married to Mickey, who I talked about. But the last scene is, this whole thing, the power of waking sleeping hearts in you. And then Mickey's saying, like, yeah, but she's not in you. You're going to abuse this power, and it's unpredictable. And he's like, I gotta try. So the whole thing, we get another ending montage set to the Utada Hikaru song. Things are pretty happy. I actually got to pull up here. Did you see? So they resurrect Naminé finally.
Yeah.
And the part that made people crack up was Riku goes outside and we're driving the gummy ship and gives her his hand. And people were like, remember in Inside Out, the helicopter pilot?
Let me see this.
come fly with me, Katinha. We got a whole...
That is cute.
Oh, because now people are shipping them because it's like, this game pretty firmly is like, no, Sora and Kairi, that's a thing.
Yeah.
And so the end is them all, relaxing on the island, and, things are good, and they all look up, and Sora's coming back with Kairi on the palm tree, they always are, and they're like, oh yeah, but then it cuts, she's tearing up over something, and I don't feel so good.
Yeah.
Sora disintegrates.
Yeah.
The end. Credits. Like, what? Holy shit.
Yeah. Sora's dead.
Well,
unless
there's an after credit scene.
Yeah.
And there are two. One twist I liked. Another thing. Oh yeah, Pete and Maleficent were in this game for some reason.
Yeah.
You never fight them. It comes to nothing. They're still looking for this box. That was the tribute of like a short from the mobile game. And there's we still got one organization member. We got Zigbar.
Zigbar, my favorite one.
I like Zigbar a lot.
Yeah.
And it turns out he is a reincarnation of one of the messengers who went off with this box from the Master of Masters. And they're still all curious what's in the box. I'm hoping it's either Gwyneth Paltrow's head or Marcellus' Wallace's soul.
I was just about to make that joke.
I hope so.
Yeah.
And that's what Pete and Maleficent are for this whole time. So clearly it's... And then those guys with the Amber Mask show up and be like... So the assumption is these are the new villains. But we'll have to wait for... I'm like, is it going to be Kingdom Hearts 4? Are they going to do a spin-off? Because here's the thing. All the previous spin-offs were on handhelds that could do PS1 or PS2 type graphics. It was easier. That's not a thing anymore. They got to do at least, Switch, like 360 level graphics, even on phones. I'm like...
Either that or we wait 30 years for the next installment.
Yeah. Well, Xehanort, I almost call him Xehanort. And more is like, I'm going to finish every installment of the Final Fantasy VII Remake. And you see them like, how many are there going to be? Like, we don't know yet. Give us 50 years.
Yeah, because we skipped. A lot of people forget, but we essentially skipped the console generation.
We are probably never going to see what a PS3 360 Kingdom Hearts game would look like.
No, or a PS5 generation. We'll probably be on PS6.
Maybe a spin-off. Maybe a spin-off. That's what I think. I don't know. Because right now they're working on DLC.
Yeah.
Which I was very curious if they're going to do another movie. It's all playing as like Organization and Roxas and the like.
So I'm very interested.
Day one. I was still crossing fingers for Zootopia level.
That would have been cute.
Side note, Mimi saw Zootopia in theaters with grandkids. She didn't understand the subtext until I mentioned it to her.
Okay.
But
I'm going to keep my opinions to myself on that one.
Yeah. But Kingdom Hearts 3, I still recommend it, and I'm still curious to see where it goes. But I've also come to terms with the fact that it's not going to make the leap in writing quality that other stuff like Final Fantasy has.
No, I've said it before that everyone by now knows my opinions about Kingdom Hearts, but I still, having played 3, I do think it's fun.
Very fun.
And even though I miss seeing Final Fantasy characters cross over. I don't think it's a good excuse that they're not there.
They might come back. Like I said,
sure,
they got to wrap some.
I'm sure they'll come back, but I'm saying in terms of 3, if you haven't played 3, give it a shot.
Yes.
Play. Let me put it to you this way: play past the Hercules level, because I was not a fan of the Hercules level.
That's right. That's all you had done.
Yeah. By that point, I was not feeling the game.
You weren't.
But when I got to Toy Story Entangled, then I was down.
Yeah.
And only when I had the time. But those levels were ridiculous, and I had fun.
And you gotta do the Big Hero 6 and Pirates levels. Trust me.
I'll get to those. But again, if you haven't played this game, or if you're into Kingdom Hearts, I mean, obviously you already have this game. You're having fun. But if you're new to the series and you want to know what all the hubbub is about, give it a shot. And if you can stomach the acting, if you can stomach the story,
and some acting.
Yeah. Well, tell you what. Your mileage may vary on some of this stuff, on some of the presentation, but I think that the gameplay itself is really fun. Mm-hmm. I don't mean to say acting because I think,
and if you're a fan of Disney, particularly their modern films, you're going to get a lot of treats.
I personally think like most of the acting is okay, except I'm going to keep that one to myself too.
Okay,
but Kingdom Hearts 3 is fun. Play it. The end. That's what I have to say. Don't at me.
That people are going to at you now.
I know.
This is almost as complicated a discussion as Kingdom Hearts lore itself. That's hard to do.
It's not as hard because, I mean, I do have conflicting feelings about this series. I'll tell you this. I'm done with Kingdom Hearts.
Even if you make another one, you're not going to touch it?
No.
Right. I'm still in.
I've seen the secret movie, and it looks cool as shit. But I think that little in-game commercial that they made with the Toy Story, that
Rex.
Yeah, that shit was cool. If it wasn't connected to Kingdom Hearts, I'd play it in a heartbeat.
Well, did you see the secret ending?
I did see the secret ending.
They were going to tie it in somehow.
And I don't want...
Did you hear about the crazy background behind it?
What is it?
Okay, so Nomura was originally attached to Versus 13, the original version of 15.
Yeah.
Apparently what they made in the final version was pretty different from what he did. Mm-hmm. And so apparently VRM Rex is him sticking it to them and being like, I'm still going to make this game somehow. I'm just going to make it Kingdom Hearts.
I'm not for it.
That's insane. That's insane.
I am not for it. because the whole thing with 15. I mean, in my opinion of 15.
Go back.
Yeah. It's changed drastically from when I first played it.
Yeah, it went down.
Yeah, it's
Primarily because of the writing.
Primarily. So, I mean, and obviously, like, no production is. Well, I can't say no production because there have been. There have been productions that have been hampered by one person, and I don't know. I wasn't there, so I can't say that Nomura was the bottleneck for it.
I get the sense he is. I'm assuming.
I'm not going to. I'm not going to.
At the same time, he made a fun game with 3.
He did make a fun game with 3, but I mean, from some of the news articles, it was like at some point he wanted to make 15 a musical or something, and I kind of chuckled, and I was like,
that explains why he wanted to let it go. Yeah, that explains why he made Little Mermaid Kingdom Hearts 2 a musical.
And I'm like,
maybe we should move on from Kingdom Hearts.
What I'm saying is that when it comes to Kingdom Hearts, I can't do it anymore. I've waited 17 years for them to get to this point. There have been better games. There have been better stories. There have been, like I said, there's been the MCU started.
Even Square, I feel like Nier is their new critical darling.
Yeah,
and Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, and I keep seeing a lot about Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, no, it's good. I've tried it.
So I'll keep an eye on Nier. I'll keep an eye on Final Fantasy 14.
I'll keep an eye on Kingdom Hearts for you.
I'll keep an eye on Final Fantasy 7 because I'm actually not a big 7 fan.
No, but the remake looks good.
The remake looks awesome.
E3 impressions were positive too.
I'm willing to give it a shot.
Oh yeah.
I'm staying away from Kingdom Hearts.
All right. So his heart will no longer be his guiding key.
No. Sorry guys, I'm a heartless now. Now I'll just have to commit Sudoku and get it out the way.
Did you say commit Sudoku?
That was a joke. So the summaries that I read or that I watched, someone made this joke. And I forget.
We gotta move on.
I know. Someone made the joke that Sora commits Sudoku, and then his heart came out.
Oh yeah,
and I fucking died
hearing that shit.
If anyone knows who that was, it was a YouTube video, and he makes like all these crude drawings of Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
He was a really matter of fact, very sarcastic.
Sora
and it's like, and then Sora does this, and he's all like, "Man, I have to do the heart thing," and then Sora commits Sudoku and frees Kairi, and I'm like, what? And I fucking died.
Sora goes, ew, OMG, and commits Sudoku with his Keyblade. Ansem and Sora have a good old-fashioned anime showdown. You know, Sora believes in himself, Ansem turns into a boat, and the player mashes X a lot.
Alright.
Beautiful.
I had to get that out of my head.
He died just like Record Hauer and Rusey Taylor.
He died.
I mean, it's sad.
You don't, no. He died doing puzzles.
That's how Professor Layton's gonna die someday.
No.
And Sora goes to Riku and is like, well, spit me out like the pit of a palpu fruit. I can't believe we all made it back in one piece. And Riku goes, you do remember Kairi died, right? Oh yeah, but if I bring her heart back, I'll be lost forever. Where does it say that? It says right here in my Dramatic Endings for Dingus's book that I ate for lunch. So Sora brings Kairi back to life and fades away. Later, nerds. And just then, Namine walks over and starts breakdancing. Ow!